See you, man.
Good morning. Good to
morning.
see you as well. Hi, everybody. This is I'm Trying Dude, episode 4. We're back together in the flesh, Daniel, Victor, and myself here, Marcel Flores. On this podcast, we like to go deep while keeping it light. We're trying to take the toxic out of the masculinity. We're trying to make out a little, but not.
But only on the video
Yeah.
podcast. Today we're getting into a couple cool topics, some fun stuff, some sexuality,
First
some
for that.
brotherly love, relationship advice, and then a little bit on reframing your brain.
Yes, and I think before we get into any of that, we also have a very big announcement. And we didn't get engaged, but
we have a huge announcement. I'm engaged.
you're engaged.
I'm engaged.
Congratulations, brother. That's amazing.
Crazy.
It's normally the girls that
Yeah,
have
right.
that reaction,
Yeah,
but-
except for it's us now.
Yeah.
Dude, nuts.
How's it feel?
It feels, honestly, I didn't think much would change. If like some people I've talked to, they'd be like, dude, nothing changes. It's like, it's the same thing. But I feel like
they're miserable.
Yeah, I was like, you guys not happy? Because like this is a blast.
You should celebrate your love more
dude,
often.
Absolutely. It's fun, and I was super nervous. I didn't think I'd be that nervous going into it.
Okay.
I was like, okay, I'm just gonna play this cool. It's fine. It's whatever. But then like the lead up to it, so nervous. Like I was like shaking. I kind of blacked out, and at the end I was like, I asked you to marry me, right? Like I said those words came out of my mouth at some point.
Amazing.
And she was like, yeah, did I say yes? Because I think I did. And I was like, it was just like it was great though. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, I feel like that's when it's less about what you say. It's just about like, hey, I'm here, I'm ready, and she goes, yeah. I mean, not that she didn't, kind of twist your arm and be like, bro, it's been a minute.
Can we please?
I love you, you love me. Let's
come on,
do
buddy.
this thing. So it's only fair that you broke her toe afterwards.
Yes, that did happen. Funny
right.
story actually. Yeah, I wanted to get a taste of what's coming in the relationship as we keep going. Just pain and misery. Just kidding. No, so I had a videographer there, one of my best friends, Alex, and he was taking photo and video. So I brought my tripod, and then on the way out, like after I proposed, everything went well. We're so excited. I'm packing up everything to go, and then my tripod slips off of the bag and falls vertically directly onto her foot. And she's like, and she's such she plays it cool so well, but at that moment she was like, I think I'm like bleeding. I don't know. So she like goes and looks at it. She's like, okay, there's no blood. Like it's fine. Like we'll be good. But she like limped the whole way home, and then the following day her toe was like completely purple. So I proposed to her, and then immediately after broke her toe.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're like, you're my woman now. This is how I treat my women.
This is what happens if you leave. No, it was great.
Is she better now? Did you get that checked out?
No, we didn't go to a doctor.
All right, fuck it. Because American healthcare.
Yeah, absolutely, too expensive. But we called a couple doctor friends and they're like, look, if you go somewhere, all they're gonna do is tell you to like wrap it with the next toe and give you some ibuprofen or whatever. So. It wasn't that bad to where she felt like she had to like go somewhere and get like checked up on, but she taped it to the other toe and it's doing better. It's doing much better. Yeah.
Okay, buddy toes.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah,
Buddy toes.
the buddy
The
system.
buddy
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, that's me. What have you been up to?
Well, not that.
Okay.
And not that. I've been getting into tantra.
Tantra. All right.
So,
do tell more.
yeah, I mean, right? I'm like, aren't you curious?
Yeah.
I obviously it's a concept that, or I guess a philosophy that I've been aware of, and I'm sure you are, and many of us have been their whole lives. Not really ever knowing what it was, and then I did a breathwork retreat in Mexico in March, and that whole breathwork world, it's buddy system with the tantra thing.
Okay.
So like that's when I started hearing a lot more about it, and I bought a couple books. One from Osho, a spiritual leader, also a highly having a foreign moment. I'm blanking on the word, but like he essentially became a cult leader.
Okay.
Really dubious
Nice.
his dealings. Bought a book of his, and then another one is called Urban Tantra, which is the one I'm reading right now. Hadn't picked them up, like bought them 9 months ago, and then recently I was like, I feel like I should. Maybe I should read it. And I love when that happens because I buy so many books and they mostly just sit on the freaking shelf. But then I love when like that spark of inspiration comes, and then I gotta run with it, and I gotta try and finish that book within a week. Otherwise, like I'll stop
You'll
wherever
never
I stop.
pick it up
and
again.
it'll be
Yeah.
gone. But that's something I've been doing. I'm excited to like share a little bit more through. I'm a third of the way into the book right now, but I think it's really, really interesting. Like it's a whole entire new approach on sex for me, and on what an orgasm even means as a guy, and to separate an orgasm from ejaculation.
Damn.
Isn't it like
So
like
real quick,
Yeah, hit
if for someone who hasn't, like let's assume, because you said tantra is something that people may have heard of, man.
Oh, yeah, fair.
What would you like? What is that defined as? What is the?
Well, I think it's some people would call it a religion. I think just because religion is a word that can be negatively connotated to some people, I would stay away from that. It's a way of viewing sex or sexual energy as the life force that like lives within us and like as an integral part of our universal experience. So like it's a lot more than just like, oh, we fuck to like make kids or we fuck to come to have fun. It's about like what sexual energy, how you can use it in other ways than just for that very simple pleasure.
Hell yeah.
Right?
That
like
sounds
super
sick,
fucking
yeah.
cool. It's super cool. It's a lot about how you move sexual energy throughout the body, how you orgasm not in your genitals, like how you move it away from the genitals. And make it a more whole body experience. And I think that's really cool. And apparently, so I follow this guy, I forget his name right now, Dave Asprey, I didn't forget his name.
Okay.
Very hard follow for me. Like he's an older, good-looking guy. He's a biohacker. Like he calls himself the godfather of biohacking.
Okay.
But he's also like hard to watch, sometimes a little cringy.
Okay.
But he keeps going on about like if you nut less as a guy, you live longer. And that guys should nut once a month, and that they should then keep orgasms to an hour max.
Question. If I'm nutting once a month,
Right.
how could I possibly even get close to an hour maximum of orgasm?
Right. So I'm not up to that part in the book just yet.
Okay.
I'm not up there. It's delaying actual ejaculation is like part of that whole entire way of living, I want to say. Not up to that yet. Haven't tried it, so we can touch back on this. But I thought I
haven't tried it at all. Been done a
tried it all.
shit ton and hours of orgasm.
No, it is. I have noticed in the past, like where I've married breath with sex, like how much more intense you can actually come, and I think that's like it's. Have you ever dabbled in that world?
No, dude.
Literally,
you're blowing my mind right now.
It is wild. Like, and if
I'd be taking notes. This is
we're getting there. I think once it's into practice, I'm happy to share some like very specific things. But I've done literally breath work, like eye to eye breath work in and out, like just breathing, buck ass naked, and dude, the sexual energy that builds up is insane. It's insane.
Just doing breath work.
Just breath work. Just like
looking,
like literally staring into your partner's soul, and just breathing together and synchronizing breath. There's a lot in that. A lot of people think that's why prayer in church is so uniting, is because you inhale and exhale together to say those prayers and sing together. Like there's something that bonds you, and a lot of that is apparently to be led back to breath, which I think is really, really cool. But so I thought something that was really, really fun was there's a question, like 10 qualities that you would look for in a lover.
Okay.
That isn't physical. So not like for you specifically, rock hard abs.
Right.
No.
A beard. Yeah.
A beard. But rather like these qualities. And for a moment, now you and everybody listening right now, take like 10 seconds and just think through a few of these qualities of what they would be. All right. Well,
that was enough time.
That was enough time.
That's
Stop.
enough time. Yeah.
Pencils down.
Yeah. If you're driving, eyes on the road.
Do you want to share a couple?
I do have a couple. So I thought like an openness to like trying new things. Someone who's like judgment free. Like there's no judgment or whatever. Communicative. Honestly, like assertive, like a little dominant. I think was nice. Generous and selfless, because I think I identify as like a more generous, like selfless kind of lover. exploratory, fun, spontaneous. I think like the chemistry's got to be there. But those are some things that I came up with. Do you have a list of yours?
I do. Very similar. I have dominance as well, actually, but I also have submission. I think that's going to kind of like depend on the mood a little bit.
Absolutely.
Exploration, confidence, curiosity, sensitivity, sensuality, passion, openness, but I also have dirtiness in there, and I love it. So super funny. Apparently, what you describe is who you are as a lover.
Really?
Yeah. If you think about it, because you literally just said it. You're like, oh, that's. You're trying to find someone that vibes with what you vibe with. So like what you're looking for is very likely who you are. And I thought that was really, really cool. But yeah, so this is me on my tantric journey in the very beginning, but excited to see what sex can. I feel like as a straight guy, sex is so boxed in. Mm-hmm. Like what you grew up with thinking about and the porn you watch and all this shit.
What's porn?
Do you watch a lot of porn?
No, what's that?
Do you,
no, now I don't.
Okay.
I definitely used to, for sure. I remember I can tell you the first porn video I watched.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I actually watched it with a buddy.
Tight. Hell yeah, dude.
I had no idea what it. He goes, bro, I got to show you something. And I was like, it was a sleepover at his house. And I was like, okay, what is it? And it's like 3 a.m, right?
Nice.
So we have to creep downstairs into his kitchen, where everyone keeps the family computer.
That's the best.
Yeah,
way
and I was like, "What are you?" We're like, I remember like being cold. Like, what do we watch? What is this? And he goes, "No, dude, you gotta check this out." And he like types in this video, and it's like, I think it was like 2 girls with like an ice cube or something. It's like, I don't know, playing with an ice cube or whatever. And I remember watching this and being like, holy shit. And I was standing next to like my best friend, like, dude, what? We were watching this at the same time, like, dude, what is this? Like, what? In his family's kitchen.
Nice.
Just like standing there like at 3 a.m, just watch. I was like, this is insane.
Didn't even know what to do with yourself at that
no
point.
idea. I was like, what the this is how is this allowed? Like, what? How did you find this?
You magic man.
Yeah, but no, I obviously have watched it in the past. I try not to now.
Right.
Just I've heard there's like, I don't know, like affects you in the long run or whatever, depending on like what you get into. I don't know. That could be wrong.
Well,
but
no, I think you're right. First of all, really quick, I want to share because the very first porn I watched, I found by myself by accident.
Really?
Because I was really into Dragon Ball. I was really into Dragon Ball. So I watched Dragon Ball, I watched Dragon Ball Z, I watched Dragon Ball GT, and I went on the fan forums. And I was like, oh my god, Dragon Ball XXX, what the fuck are you? And I was like, Bulma, no. Yeah, but I didn't know what to do with myself until a buddy came over and like we looked at some of the stuff, and then he was a year older.
Okay.
And he was like moving his hand up in his pants. I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, you don't know that's how you. I'm like, do what? Do you do what? He's like, oh, you should give it a try sometime. I'm like, oh, okay, tight. But yeah, on the more serious note, I think absolutely it fucks you up long term.
yeah, look, I'm not gonna say that watching porn does or does not impact you. I do think that there are studies that say it makes it a little harder as you continue to like rely on porn to get off and like to.
Oh, interesting.
That like impacts your ability to just become aroused in general with like your partner or like in like the real world.
I mean, I guess maybe it's because it's taken away your ability or the necessity for creativity, for visualization, right? To like create a scenario that turns you on in real life rather than.
I think so. Plus, also like all this stuff in porn is like it's all staged. So I think like if your expectation now is being set to this like crazy, Hollywood level standard of like, super loud and super aggressive or like whatever.
Yeah.
It might not live up to that in real life. So I'm like, if that's like what you're sort of, what's the word? Conditioning yourself to get off to and like be aroused by, then I feel like you're kind of setting yourself up for failure in the future if it doesn't match that exact like brand of what you're looking at.
Yeah. That sounds about right. I mean, I think also it's just so male dominated, that space, and like male dominated in the fantasy that it is, and so much of it has to do with power over the other, right? Like demeaning or objectifying, I think, and it takes a good bit to step away from that because it is like it becomes an addiction. Like you said you're not saying whether or not it's bad. I think I would take a more strong stance and say like I think it is bad, like because it's not like if there's certain types maybe that could be more just for educational purposes, I guess, but especially with what I'm It's ironic because what I'm reading now, the Tantra thing, it seems like that should go the complete opposite, but that author, she's an urban Tantra. It's like she ties it into the real world, saying like she definitely enjoys it and watches it. I feel like as a woman, maybe it's also a different thing, but as a guy, I feel like like I stopped watching porn to a large extent randomly when I started dating Clara. It's just something that I felt no need for anymore, which I lived by that shit for a long time. Which I thought was surprising. But now I'm questioning a few of the things that I'm into myself, like my sexual preferences, and whether they're actually mine. Because I'm in this general space of like reprogramming myself, asking myself that the things that I'm into, whether they're sexual or just everyday, are actually my beliefs and my wants and desires, or what I've been taught to want to enjoy, to get off to.
Are you tying that into like the Tantra stuff? Like, do you think that like are you like as you're going through the book, are you noticing that like your preferences or like the stuff you're?
Well, I think the Tantra thing is it's meditation, where meditation meets sex, like a focus, like a very conscious way of being. Like I'm doing this and nothing else. I'm not thinking about work. I'm not thinking about the porn I watched that I want it to look like. I'm not thinking about what I have to do in 20 minutes to just fully be present. And I think that's really just how I'm trying to live my life more, period. And I want that to flow into sex as well.
Which is smart. I think that is also huge. I feel like it's such a big issue now too with guys is getting like you're constantly bombarded with stimuli. Like you said, what do I have to do in 20 minutes? What did I forget to do today? What and then you're like you want to make the moment count, but you're thinking about all these other different things that like take you out of it. Which makes it like hard to be in the moment and like enjoy it fully. So I think I'm excited to hear more about this. I think like I mean I don't know if I could let me know what book it is and I can check it out.
Yeah,
I
actually,
feel like it'd be a good book to look into.
Yeah, it's not a great one to read in public because the cover is like the back of a woman that's clearly nude. Yeah,
you're like no, I'm just
it's for school.
Yeah, it's literature.
For school, second grade.
You know what I want to talk about?
Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
That I've noticed, which I don't know. I'm hoping that more guys do this, but if we're on the phone and we're talking to each other, we'll be like, all right, dude, like, I'll see you. You're like, all right, I love you. And I'm like, all right, I love you. And we hang up the phone.
Right.
You know? And I don't know if this is like a newer thing, because I never used to do that with friends, like, growing up. But now I feel like even with friends that I have known for, like, years and never used to do it, now we all are like, all right, dude, like, peace, love you. You know? Which got me thinking, I'm like, it's so, I think, important to tell your bros you love them. Or tell anyone that you love them.
Right.
Because you never know what could happen. Which is like, I don't want to make it like dark or like, macabre or, like, foreboding in any way. But I think there's like, you truly never know what's going to happen. So I think telling the people that you love them, like in person is so, it's important. And I have a story on that, which may have radically shifted my view on that. Did I tell you my story about my flight to Wisconsin?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. So I was getting ready to fly to Wisconsin with like some friends, and experiencing some really bad weather, and the flight gets delayed by like not even like 30 minutes. It was like 3-4 hours because of like all the storms or whatever that were going on. So we're like sitting in JFK playing cards and like just passing time. Finally, we get to like it's like midnight at this point. Plane finally is ready to go. We hop on. It's sitting on the tarmac again, like inclement weather. Like we gotta wait. They gotta clear the tarmac or whatever. I doze off, and I wake up because everyone's phone at the same time got one of those like
Amber Alert.
Amber alerts, it's like tornado warning, right? As that thing hits my phone and everyone else's phone on the plane, the pilot gets over the intercom and is like, all right, we're getting ready for takeoff. And I was like, hey, dude, does your phone not get the thing that we just got? Because I was like, okay, I guess we're just going to send it then. So I'm like, okay, fuck it, whatever. He knows better than I do. I'm not a pilot. In the sky, definitely turbulent ride. We're getting to the point where now we start our descent into Wisconsin.
Okay.
And pilot gets on the intercom and goes, hey, just so you guys know, is your pilot speaking, whatever, yada, yada. We're having an issue with the landing gear in the front of the plane. We noticed after takeoff, there's an issue with it, so we are going to have to treat this landing like a crash landing. And at that point,
no.
all my friends, like, we're, you sitting in a plane,
You're
and
chilling,
you're
yeah.
chilling. All my friends like perk up, and we all look at each other over like the seats, like, you
are we cool with this?
you heard
Like-
that, right? Like
Yeah.
he said, those words came out of his mouth, right? And now at this point, people start freaking out a little bit. I hear people in business class like yelling. I hear people behind like, what's going on? Like, what, And he's like, okay, no need to panic. We're treating this like a crash landing. No, I love
Those
that.
two parts of the sentence don't go together.
No need to panic, folks. We're just gonna crash and burn. But he's like, the flight attendants will talk you through what has to happen in order for us to do this successfully or whatever. So basically, the way that this happens, I don't know if you've ever been on a plane where they're having an issue, but there's like a form for it where you brace your forearms in front of your face and you put them on the seat back in front of you, and then you press your forehead against the cross that your forearms make. It's called like the brace position.
Yeah. I've seen it many a time
Okay.
in the video, not having to do it.
Okay,
Like,
so they're like, they explain this all to us, and the plane's just slowly getting closer and closer to the ground. Now at this time, I'm looking outside, and I'm like, man, I could die right now if this plane crashes. Like if this, like I think we'll be all right. But if this goes down right now, that's it. It's completely out of my hands. I'm looking out at the ground that's getting increasingly close. I'm like, man, I can't even call my family to like tell them I love them because we're on a freaking plane. I'm like, there's so much left I want to say, like, but I mean, and it was weird because there was a moment where I was half panic and half like peace, where I was like, you know what, if this is how it's supposed to happen, it's out of my hands. I had no control of the situation. Like,
what are you gonna do?
I had a good run, and like there's more I could do or whatever. Anyway, all my internal monologuing gets broken up by people screaming frantically in first class, crying. The dude next to me trying to talk to me and have a conversation. I'm like, brother, we are not. I don't know you. like, dude.
Everyone for themselves.
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
like, man, like, well, come on, dude. Like, I'm trying to, make inner peace.
I'm trying
to be right with God real quick, And so the flight attendants start. They start yelling. They're like, so they say this, like the cadence that they're going to say this is brace, head down, stay down. They're going to keep saying that, okay? Jeez. We're getting closer and closer to the ground.
I not know the story. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
We're getting closer and closer to the ground. Pilot's like, okay, flight attendants, please assume your positions or whatever. So they get to opposite ends of the plane, and they strap into their seats, and they start repeating this chant together in unison.
Right.
Brace, head down, stay down. Brace, head down, stay down. So I'm just like, buckled in, like, oh boy, this could be it, right? And as we're getting closer, I don't know. It's just it's all a blur. At one point the two flight attendants get out of sync, so they're not. It's no longer like brace. It's like brace, head down, brace, head down, head stay down, brace. Pilot's like, brace for impact. And I'm like, oh, and we're all just buckled in. Plane lands fine. It was fine. Lands, smoothest landing I dare say ever I've had on a plane. Goes, we go through the tarmac to like what must be like 20 or 30 fire trucks and ambulances all lined up down the runway just in case something went wrong.
They just wanted to get in the way.
Yeah, we ran them all over. They were all scattered which way. But they, just in case something went wrong, but it was fine. But that was the first moment ever that I was like, oh my God, I could die. Like, this is like like check my mortality for a second. Right. And ever since that day, I think I have been even more adamant about making sure the people I love in my life, I tell them, like, hey, like, I love you, dude. Or like, all right, see ya, like, love you, because you never know. I'm not saying you're going to get on a plane and, have a near-death experience, but I just thought that since then, feeling like, oh man, I have so much more I want to say. There's so many people I want to tell that I love. I could just fucking die.
Yeah.
Really reframe that whole thing in a way that, I don't know, made me think more about the people that I should tell that I love more often.
When did this happen? Because you're now bringing it up, right? Like,
this happened years ago. This was probably like.
So it's just like you see that as like your starting factor for why you started saying it and it became more normal to you.
It was just the first thing that popped into my head. Like when we say it all the time. We hang up the phone, and I was like, oh, like
interesting.
That's something that I never used to do.
Yeah, interesting.
You know, what like sparked that, like me being more adamant about being like, all right, dude, like later, love you, you know, or like whoever, you know, my mom, my girlfriend, or fiance now.
So, yes. gotta
Whoops.
get used to that. Yeah, I mean, you said it before. We used to not do it, but I think it's also because our dads didn't really do that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know your dad, but my dad definitely wasn't like, yo, love you to his buddies. So many things I want to say to this. Jesus Christ. One, yes, death. Like, people are so afraid of death, but like at the end of the day, it's what gives life meaning.
True.
And that's the perfect story for it. Like,
Yeah.
if we weren't afraid that we would at some point run out of time to do things with people, nothing would matter because we'd have infinite amount of times, and we could spend like time. This time would be less valuable because it's not finite. Like,
Right.
we could do this now. We could do this in a billion years.
Right.
Cool. So like, who the fuck cares?
Doesn't matter.
So that for sure probably also deserves its own conversation at some point, right?
Bookmark
Death,
that, yeah.
Smaller topic. Definitely cross that off now. But yeah, dude, I love telling my homies I love them, and not even just because I think time is running out, just because it makes me feel good. It'll hopefully make you feel good. So however much time we have left, why don't we both relish in a little bit of love and enjoy today more?
Yeah.
And let it be another 1,000 todays, or hopefully more than 1,000. That's 3 years.
Just 1,000.
Just 1,000. Let it be another 20,000 days that we spent like this. Amazing.
Right.
But like, why not make every day better? And I think it used to be. Yeah, I love you is also like there's a big difference between like I love you and love you.
Yeah.
Both friendship and romantically, I think there's these moments where I'm like, you have these really deep conversations. A lot of which are probably the reason why you and I are sitting here right now. Is like that you want to end with like Mexico. Like you're like, dude, I love being with you guys. Like I love that I can genuinely be myself and like the true appreciation that comes out. But to keep that spark alive on a daily, whenever you talk. To remind yourself, like, hey, dude, fucking, I love you. You know what I mean? Like, maybe we just chatted about cheese for 5 minutes. That's cool. I love it. No, I think that's awesome. I also think that's something that unites a lot of us our age now. I don't hang out with a lot of people that don't do that.
Is that intentional?
No, I'm
Or
just
just
saying, like, it's just like. I do this with almost all of my, if not almost all of my close friends. I'm also always like, I'll send hearts, I'll send, I think sometimes guys are afraid that that'll make them seem more gay, like, which obviously in itself is
or even just
rather
like
homophobic.
not masculine. Like I think like say like almost like you said like about the dad thing.
That's actually more adequate. Yeah.
Expressing your love or telling like another guy like or your bro or whoever like, oh, I love you. I think there's a connotation that's like it makes you less masculine or it's less of a man, or you can't express that emotion because you're supposed to be hard, you're supposed to be walled up and just like a
men don't cry, men don't show their feelings.
Absolutely.
Like,
so I think it's like I'm happy that it's like going almost like swinging, like the pendulum swinging the other way, where you can start expressing that and it not be like considered weird or like, oh, dude, what do you mean? Like that's don't fucking say that to me. Like it's.
For sure.
It's a human emotion, and you should tell the people that you feel that way about that. You feel that way because you never
tell
know.
them now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And fucking tell them now. Yeah. There's no point. And like I wish I could. It's part of growing up, but I wish I could shake, teenage Marcel already. Like who starts developing these feelings for like girls. Who's like, I can't tell her. I can't. I'm like this fear of sharing your feelings, especially when you think they might not be reciprocated, is I think something that so many of us still live with, right? Like whether they're good or bad, but like this idea that we can just share our feelings. I mean, this is something I think we're going to keep touching on with this podcast, hopefully, right? That you can just share your feelings because they're your feelings. Like it's just what it is, and if someone doesn't reciprocate them, guess what? Like you not telling them. I mean, there's some situations where maybe you want to wait a little bit. Like you met someone today, like I love you, I love you. Yeah. But then again, there is the question, like, okay, if it's meant to be, and that other person maybe should feel the same way about you after day one, and be like, yeah, dude, like I really fucking love you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. But I'm all for it. I'm all for more love.
Yeah, absolutely.
At all times, and destigmatizing it between guys.
Hell yeah.
And I think that's something that happened with me that I noticed last week with Clara, like with sharing how you're feeling. Like I've been a little on edge. I came back from Germany, and then we're heading to Costa Rica tomorrow, which is going to be
Nice.
awesome. 6 days of vacay, 6
Hell
days
yeah.
of rain. It's going to be
6
fantastic.
Ooh, 6 days
I'll
of
report
rain.
back on the next episode of how rainy Costa Rica was. But there's these 6 days, 3 of which were the weekend, and I'm like trying to get back into my everyday routine. And trying to catch up on some things, trying to work ahead, and like I was just irritable, right?
Okay.
I was irritated.
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling great physically, and and then okay, quick interim story. I wasn't feeling great physically, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go take a bath.
Okay.
I'm gonna go take a bath, and I did some breath work in the bath, and then with my breath work, I hold my breath. And I was like, oh, it should go underwater and then hold your breath there. That'll feel nice. You'll be completely submerged, and you're holding. I hold my breath for like a couple minutes, right? So that's you know this.
Yeah.
Wim Hof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I do.
hey. Gotta play it up for the cameras. Yeah. Like, whoa, it's impressive,
Wow.
right? Wow. A couple minutes, you say.
That's so I go in the water, and the water starts creeping in my nose. And I was like, shit, this is not enjoyable at all. So I start inhaling a bit.
Underwater.
Terrible decision. Not a decision.
Yeah,
I made.
I would say.
And then I woke up in the middle of the night because I had an earache because my middle ear was just filled with water, and I just fucked myself so bad. So much for self-care. Be careful not to do breath. It literally says don't do breath work in the water. I'm like, okay, that's on me. That's on me. So I wasn't feeling great, partially because of life circumstances, partially because of my own decisions.
Yeah. 'Cause you drowned yourself.
Yeah, exactly, which as one does on a Tuesday. Anyway, and I feel like whenever Clara and I had like these slight disagreements where normally I would just go over, I would burst more often. Like I would kind of like, I would be harsher, I'd be more just a short temper, right? And the same thing, like I think it not that it diffuse the whole thing, but it helps to be like, hey, I'm not feeling good. I'm in a little bit of a weird space right now, and I need you to see that and know that. Like this is the reasons why I feel like I'm on my edge, and to realize that, like to first stop and realize that, second communicate it. It makes it so much easier to then continue on with the everyday life because, yeah, like at least the other person knows where you're at, and that's. No, she might not love hearing that, like, oh, you know, I can't be more loving right now. That's okay. But same thing, like, I'd rather say it so she knows, and then we can move forward from there, rather than not say it and have to deal with, have to deal with my explosiveness and have to wonder if she's doing something wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think that's such a huge. It's funny because that actually happened to me yesterday. I was a little.
You were electric yesterday.
I was a little.
Felt that.
Yeah, I was a little frazzled with work. But I was getting ready to like make dinner or something, or I don't know. I forget what the circumstance was, but Miliana looked at me and she's like, "Look, you're at like 10% right now. I'm at like 20% right now.
Yeah.
So together, we're not even making up 100." And I was like, that is such a good assessment. And I was like, well, you know what? Let's just make this the best 30% we can and, you know, do our best. And we had a great rest of the night. It was like, I think it was a little bit of like tension in the beginning. When we addressed that, finally, like, look, she was asking, she's like, did I do something wrong? Is there like an issue? And I was like, no, look, here's exactly what's happening. I've got a project going on, X, Y, and Z, whatever. Nothing to do with you. I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed right now, and I can't, you know, give you exactly what it is that like you want at this moment. She shared, you know, what she was feeling. And so it was just a nice, like, I think you're so right. And that like the communication not only works great for like, you know, your friends and like the circumstances, like, you know, you having somebody who wants to come over and stay at your place and, you know, whatever.
Right.
But also being able to share that with like your loved ones and your partners and say, okay, look, you know, this is how I'm feeling. This is where I'm at. Please just like accept that. And then how can we move forward from that place of understanding of where we're both at? Which I think it's just funny how we have very similar situations.
Yeah, I mean we're very similar people. Which I think is why this could work.
Question for you, because I've noticed that I do this sometimes when I'm texting, and I want to know if I am alone in this or if you do the same. Do you cater the first text message that you send? Like if you know you're sending a message to somebody, right?
Right.
How much thought and preparation goes into like that first to like text, because I feel like you're establishing your like texting tone of voice.
Oh, like ever? Like you swap numbers with someone and like
after,
like am I using emojis? Am I
Yeah.
being super quirky? Am I
Yeah.
keeping it like cool?
Well, like if they text you, like what I find is like if someone texts me first and they send me like a message, I will almost mirror my texting language, like the way that I text, to fit their mode of, like, if they use periods, like I'm not a big period person.
I hate periods.
You know?
Yeah.
But if I notice that someone's using periods in everything, and like even at the end of the text using a period, I will put a period at the end of my text to like match that text energy. Is that something you do?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, because I feel like I overthink it, so I'm like, man, I feel like I will type out the first text somebody and then like delete it. I'm like, how do I want to come off right now?
No,
like
no,
you said, like,
I
am I using
that.
emojis? Am I like, because I feel like my default too is to use like ha 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 ha. I put ha ha's in everything. All the time. LOLs and ha ha ha's.
After you proposed to Emiliana, I think every text had a ha ha ha. 3 ha's in every single text that you send. I'm like, you're giggly right now.
I've been
aren't
doing
you?
that
Like,
since high school. Just like it's like I don't even have to. It's just like a placeholder. I feel like if I don't include it, then my texts come off cold.
Yeah. Yeah, big on emojis.
You know, so I don't know. There's like a thought. I was like, do you also like cater your first text message, like establish your tone of voice to somebody you're texting, or like?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. So like, I don't do it anymore. I will say I don't do it anymore based on the other person.
Okay.
Like a little bit, is it a professional context, a friendly context? But I think mostly I'm embracing the quirkiness of like who I am, and like so I'll just be like, hi, like hey. Hey you, and then some stupid line of like that, you know, the German guy you met. Like I think I'm maybe I'm past it, or or it's just shifted where I'm like, I'm not gonna do it anymore. I think it stems from emails, because I hated back when you had to be like very professional in emails in Germany still.
Okay.
Like in Germany, it's like there's a whole different language that you use when you speak email German. Like it's like letter writing, like it's official writing.
Dang,
it's like
okay.
bureaucracy type shit. Versus in America, I was like, hey bud, wanted to check in on the post. Are we good? Cheers. Like that whole concept is now more a thing. But I think when I went to college and they taught me about all this shit, like, proper, like, to whom it may concern, comma.
Yeah.
I hope this finds you well, period. Shut the fuck up. Thank you. So I was very quick to after, like, as I entered professional life, to just be like, I'm gonna throw an emoji in here. Why? Because so much of how I communicate well is not with what I say, but with how I say it. And in email, I don't have the option for body language. I don't have the option for tone. So body language, gonna be real tough. But tone, I can give it with emojis and ha 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 and exclamation points. Like my emails probably like, it's just mostly people just yelling at you, hey, hope you are well, exclamation point. I love the new collection, exclamation point. But I think the period feels so cold and detached. So I'm with you, but I think I don't want to mirror it anymore no, like I'm a fucking, let's keep it light. You talk, you know me. Like I want you to know who I am, even if we haven't met. Like I want you to know who to expect in person. And that's way too loud, very happy, and very optimistic. And I want that to come across. Period.
Nice.
Period.
I'm getting better at that. I think that is. I was noticing. I was like, I gotta stop doing that, because I've noticed like when I do just come out and like be myself in text and like do the emojis or I love GIFs. I love finding a good GIF.
Dude, and you're good at GIFs too. Yeah, you're good at it. It's something I wish I was better at, if that makes any sense.
Gotta comb through the GIFs and find a good GIF. But yeah, no, that's good. I think that's a good point. Is like why invent put a mask on in text.
Wait,
Like,
so I have a GIF specific question that I need to ask someone that, while I'm thinking of it for once, to someone that's not so good with GIFs to someone that is good with GIFs, because I feel like it's a talent.
Okay.
Question 1: do you save them? Do you have them ready on the thing?
No.
2: okay, no, just no,
don't.
just okay. But you're looking for words. You're like, this is the feeling, and then I find that. Okay, cool. So I have some success with that. But then is there also moments where like you look and you don't find the right one, and it's taken too long, and then you don't send the GIF anymore because you missed the moment?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So I'm on the right path.
It's so hard to I'm sure like a lot of guys have like the group chats, like the guys and stuff. It's like the timing of the text going out is so important
crucial.
to the landing of the joke that if I'm like, even if I'm if I hit it and it's copied and then somebody already responds and I'm like, I missed the window.
Literally, you can't bring it back to that because it doesn't
like,
work anymore.
Damn it. Like,
yeah. Okay, cool. I'm glad. So I'm on the right path. I'm getting better.
Yeah.
I'm getting better.
Yeah.
I'm trying, dude.
Hey, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, dude, it feels weird. It feels weird talking about sex openly.
No, I think it's good. Well,
That's
I will
the
say
point. But like,
it's funny that you say that because like that's the whole point. I think,
it
like,
is.
why not? Like, why? I mean, I get it. It's still funny. Like, you know, if I still think the penis game is like hilarious, and there's still times I'll walk around and be like penis, you know, like just to see what happens, you know. I still think it's fucking childish and stupid, but so fun and funny. But
right.
I also think that we should have more of an open conversation. I don't think that like sex or tantra or, you know, whatever should be like a taboo topic to talk about.
No, yeah, I mean, I obviously agree. It's just still, you know, the person who starts speaking about a topic that isn't really talked about is obviously opening themselves up to a whole lot of critique. Because
Absolutely. And you saw him, dude. I started laughing when you mentioned it the first time. I was like, oh, okay. Like, you know, like, I was like, oh, I was getting ready to laugh.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, right. It's turning into this funny thing where I'm like, okay, so I'm getting one ready to be ridiculed, right?
Yep.
Two ready to be made fun of. Same thing.
Yeah, right.
Both ridiculed and be made fun of.
And made fun of.
But yeah, it's you just got that call back to like, okay, good, but like someone might fuck with us, and someone might really fucking benefit from it, and have sex in a whole new way and experience it differently. And like the beauty of tantra is it's not even about just partner sex, right? It's very much also like how you treat yourself and your body beyond masturbation.
Yeah.
So it can be a really, really healing thing, I think. So I think that's cool. So, you know, we'll focus on that.
Hell yeah.
We'll focus on that.
Before we do wrap up, I want to say the one thing, because I did promise everyone a little exercise in reframing your brain.
Oh, yeah. Shit. Yeah, that's right.
So I'll keep it super light and super brief, because I think we've talked about in the past, I lean way towards self-deprecation, like self-deprecating humor, or like if something goes wrong, like, fuck, that sucked, I'm stupid, you know, like, or like, you know, I'll look after a workout, like, I don't like my body, or, you know, whatever. I think like a lot of default for men, at least for me, is, you know, I'm not good enough, I'm stupid, I have dumb ideas, whatever. I was talking
motivation out of self-deprecation.
Yes, kind of motivation out of self-deprecation, or just like being funny, like using it as like a crutch or a way to avoid insecurity by getting ahead of someone making fun of you, is to make fun of yourself first. Someone was telling me that to do that, like to make fun of yourself and to put yourself down, is almost it's like putting down the universe or God or, you know, whatever you believe in, because you are like a product of that, you know, ultimate creation, right? So to be like, you know, I'm stupid or I'm not good enough or whatever, it's basically being like, all right, universe, like, fuck you, you know, you did a bad job creating me. When right, which is exactly, which is tough, you know.
Oh my.
Yeah. So my advice that I got from this woman was to start thinking of like the thank yous and like the gratitudes way more often, and reframing your brain to think of just being more like happy where you're at. Because if you're happy where you're at and you're grateful where you're at and you're thinking more like, oh, you know, thank you. I'm drinking a coffee right now. So nice. Thank you for the coffee. I'm so grateful for the coffee. You know, I can stand up. I can walk around. I can see. I can smell. Whatever. Start thinking of like these thank yous and these grateful moments to help reframe your brain. Because ultimately, the more that you're grateful and the more that you're happy with and the more that you're finding to love in the world, the universe or God or whatever you believe in will provide more of that for you. So, you know, I think a lot of people that are stuck in these negative feedback loops tend to skew very negative, and it creates this like fulfilling prophecy where you're constantly stuck in this. You're attracting more negativity. If you instead focus on like, okay, I'm happy where I'm at now. I'm, you know, proud of myself, proud of my body. I'm proud of how I look. I am smart. I am wealthy. I am. You know, I'm beautiful, I'm whatever, intelligent. That is affirming the ultimate creator. Like, thank you for putting me here. I'm liking where I'm at. I would love more good things.
Hell yeah.
And I've been doing that for the past couple weeks, and it's tough. It's definitely difficult to get into. I still find myself sometimes like, I was fucking stupid. But I'm like, oh no, it's not. I made a mistake. I'm glad I made the mistake. Thank you for letting me make the mistake. I'll move forward and learn. Learn something new from it.
Hell yeah.
I just think that is a good exercise for those listening or watching or whatever. Where if you find yourself in this like negative feedback loop or something, try as best you can to reframe it, and I think more positive things will come to you from that reframe of your brain.
Dude, we need to talk about this more because I'm entirely with you. I think
sure.
Did I on the podcast already share the whole man enjoying a shower thing?
I don't think so.
Have I talked? Okay. So I used to think I've been working on exactly that so much, like trying to find the good in everything, right? Before I get to the guy in the shower, which I know we're all very excited to hear
It was
about.
me.
I was in Israel a while back and listened to a rabbi, and he told the story of his son who wanted something desperately, and eventually they gave him the gift, and he did something very simple. He wrote them a thank you note, like thank you so much, like from a child to their parents, which is such an odd thing, right? Like simple, odd nonetheless. Whereas like, I'm so happy with my toy, I played with it all day, like my friends love it, thank you so much. And what it did to the rabbi and his wife was like, oh my God, you're the sweetest fucking kid. We want to give you so much more. And I think that's a very simple idea of how you can treat the universe. For those people that maybe aren't as open to the whole concept of like a bigger oneness or like a creating force, however you define it, if you can't even get there, is like, it's a very simple concept. If you're grateful for something, wherever it's coming from, there's probably coming more from it because the gratitude is appreciated.
Absolutely.
And I like that as like a little crutch to remember why this should work. But now, I was jealous of people, not gender specific by any means, people that would just be happy with the smallest things in life, right? That could you'd run into, and we're both upbeat people in general, but there's other people that are profoundly content rather than our bubbly like optimism.
Yeah.
And that's something I've aspired to for a long time. So like how are you today? It's a beautiful day. I woke up, I took a breath, the sun is shining, and I got to enjoy a hot shower.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I want to be that guy. Like I want to be able to enjoy these simple things. And then I started practicing the gratitude, and I was like, every morning now that I step into the shower, I take a deep breath. I start actually feeling, as I turn the hot water, as I step into the hot water, I start feeling it against my body, and how I could not have that, how I could start my day with a cold shower, no shower at all, feeling smelly, feeling sticky. But to have that hot water, which is a luxury that's 100 years ago we wouldn't have had yet, you know what I mean? Like, it's so new. And all I had to do, like, in the past I was like, okay, I'm gonna be grateful for the shower. Without experiencing the shower and like focusing on what I'm actually grateful for, like, of course it didn't work. But all it takes for you to become that person that, like, it's not that I enjoy hot showers any more or less than the person I talk to. It's just that if you are present, and this is tying nicely back into Tantra, if you're just present in the moment on what is actually happening, how it's feeling, you can enjoy it so much more.
Yeah.
Plus receive more of it, which is fucking awesome.
Hell yeah. That's a great way to end the episode, I think.
Yeah, that's a way better.
That's a perfect bow tie, yeah.
We did good. New setup also for those who were watching on YouTube. And I'm okay that we went over a little bit because you're going to be editing this episode anyway.
Lovely.
So that's on you now.
Love it.
Thank you for the time.
Yeah, dude, thank you for the time. Thanks you guys for listening. And as always, if you have any questions or anything you want us to cover, please chime in. This is an open forum. We'd love to chat. So
yeah, we're always trying, dude.
Yeah. Till next time.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.
Love ya.
Love ya. Right back at you.